put your hands up.
Sioux City police in pursuit of the victim from a shooting at the Riverview Apartments just behind the restaurant.
I saw the guy, and it was really weird and random, and he was using the bar phone.
Police say the 21-year-old male shooting victim came into the restaurant after getting hit by a bullet.
That turned out to be a victim of the shooting. He was transported to Mercy Medical Center. Currently, we don't have any descriptions of suspects.
Police say the victim is not sharing many details about the shooting and are still searching for a suspect.
I feel like everyone was just shocked, and a few people must have knew what was going on because they told the cops where the suspect was.
The many people who saw the shooting victim run into the restaurant shaken by the violent and large police presence in their neighborhood.
It's weird thinking because you see stuff on the news everywhere about how, you know, there's these shootings and there's bad things happening everywhere, but you think you're safe, you know, especially somewhere that you go all the time.
I mean, we don't want people shooting in Sioux City, period. I'm glad no one was seriously injured or appears to be seriously injured at this time. That's why we continually try to work with the public and address some of these concerns before they boil into shootings and try to mitigate some of these conflicts.
Sioux City police are asking anyone with information about the incident to contact the Sioux City Police Department or Crime Stoppers. Tasia Nevels, KCAU-9 News.
Now, in addition to those two shootings near the Riverview Apartments, police also responding to several other calls of violence this evening. Police called to the 1100 block of West 15th at a little after 7 o'clock following reports of shots fired there. Police confirming that a round had been fired. No one was hurt, though, but 2 men did flee from the scene, we're told. Also tonight, police receiving reports of possible stabbings and people with knives at several locations around the city. We spoke with one sergeant tonight who says this number of incidents with the violent crime is highly unusual.
You know, it seems to be getting more violent, and I've been doing this job for 24 years, and there seems to be more people carrying around guns. Guns and knives seems to be what more people are carrying around these days.
Tonight, police saying that it's too early to say if there's a connection between all of these reports, but authorities are encouraging anyone to call 911 should they witness any kind of violent crime.
A Sioux City man accused of stabbing his roommate to death is now claiming self-defense. The second-degree murder trial of 39-year-old Elmi Saeed now underway in Woodbury County District Court. Saeed is charged in connection with the death of Gul Noor. According to court documents, the 2 men got into a fight in an apartment where Saeed stabbed his roommate. Noor later died from those wounds. The trial is expected to continue the rest of this week. The Saeed faces a 50-year prison sentence if he is found guilty. And new tonight at 10, a dog involved in a vicious attack yesterday in North Sioux City has been deemed vicious by authorities. North Sioux police say the German Shepherd is being turned over to the Humane Society for quarantine. Initially, the animal was left with its owner after police determined it was licensed and was vaccinated. 7-year-old Lily Johnson suffered serious wounds to her arms, face, and ear when the dog attacked her at the front door of the residence. Family members tell us Lily will need surgery involving hundreds of stitches to reattach her ear.
A video of a man yelling racial slurs at a group of African-American teens in downtown Sioux Falls is going viral tonight on Facebook. That video shows the man repeatedly yelling the slur at the group while riding a bicycle. Scott Engen talked with the boys and their mother about what happened.
Jamel Nave and 2 of his friends were enjoying an afternoon in downtown Sioux Falls when they were blindsided by a verbal attack.
When we hopped out the car, we just heard someone just screaming stuff, racial slurs, on a bike. Passed right by us and pointed at us and started saying racial slurs towards us.
He just got closer to us and started pointing at us, calling us the N-word repetitively.
Creating an uncomfortable situation for the boys.
He pointed at me and my friend group and said, "This is the reason you guys moved to T in Harrisburg, to get away from these people."
Africa, no one wants to be there. That's why you're here.
Kind of embarrassed me, kind of embarrassed us. Him pointing at us in front of all these people, everyone walking outside and just looking at us.
The man threatened he had a gun, making Jamel's mother fear for her son's safety.
Legal firearm on me, so you know it's gonna follow me, just so you know.
It
was very scary to hear him say that he has a firearm and how close he was riding by the boys and how agitated he was.
Officer Sam Clemens with the Sioux Falls Police Department says it's important to report these types of incidents.
Anytime somebody claims to have a weapon, you don't know if that's true or not, and so the best thing to do is to call police and then let us handle it.
And someone doesn't need to have a weapon to make the incident worthy of calling the police.
If somebody's yelling racial slurs, obviously they're doing it for a reason. We'd like people to call us, and then we can come out and find out what's going on. And if laws have been broken, then we can make some arrests.
After Ashley saw her son's video, she took to social media.
I think that people need to know that there's racial issues and we don't need to be quiet about it. We need to talk about it. We need to speak about it. We need to talk to our children about it.